Hi there YouTubers, welcome back to my channel, Workshop Fun. Today I'd just like to share an exciting update. I'm sure everybody can see right now. There we go. All the flooring is done. Apart from a couple of little details, but it's all fixed, it's all solid, and it's all vinyled right the way through from the toilet and then turning around all the way down and through into the lounge. I just completed it yesterday and my good friend has been helping me too. So let's get started with what had to be done. As you guys saw with the last video, a whole lot of dowels had to go down, and the bottle of resin here that was used with the dowels to basically glue them into place. This resin is a special resin. It doesn't act with the polystyrene, so will react, which is good. You don't want it doing that. So anyway, it instead bonds with the polystyrene, so it bonds the dowel to it, and the dowel also bonds to the top layer of ply, and that of course joins the top layer of ply back up with the polystyrene and makes the floor strong again. So that was all done throughout all of here and all the way through, but there were other areas that had got past the point of that kind of repair work. I'll just grab this for a second. So my friend had to cut out a square, or sorry, an oblong in this walkway all the way through to about here and all the way through to about here, and he cut it right out, and he didn't cut through the floor. He cut all the polystyrene out and the top layer of ply out right through to the bottom layer of ply, and then after that he turned around and basically put in, so attached to the caravan's ribbing, this board here. It's wider than this usually, but this is the thickness. It's 30mm thick, and basically reinforced this whole area of the floor with this stuff here, which is glued and screwed to the caravan's original ribbing, and then in between that there is now new ribbing, which is lots and lots of blocks. So there's 1, 2, 3 long lengths going across the width of the caravan, and then in between those 3 lengths is big blocks, and they're glued into place in between the 3 ribs. So that's how that's done. Now that wasn't the only trouble, but speaking of the trouble, what caused the trouble with this is actually, it's the main walkway here in the caravan, and this is something to be aware of with UK caravans, is, or at least the older ones, this is a 2001, they had a bit of ribbing from here to here, so the actual walkway had no ribbing in it though. So that's something to be aware. And what happened over time is, walking across this area all the time, it actually kept on fracturing the polystyrene underneath to the point where it just basically imploded on itself, and that also then split the top layer of ply, so there was no longer any structural strength in this area, and it was really bad. You can see that in my last videos. If you haven't seen it yet, take a look back and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, then there was another issue with this floor, and that's from about here to here, there is now another bit of this board, and it's a solid thick board. Now with this caravan, you got your 2 axles, so this is a tandem, and in the center of each axle is a right angle that comes, it's welded off each axle. It comes out of the factory that way, obviously, and it bolts up to the floorboard to just strengthen the middle of the caravan, I guess, and also take some of the movement from the axles. But out of the factory, they'd only put little long type oblongs in that area, and then the coach bolt went through the floor, and then that bolted up to the axle. So it actually held up pretty well, but the previous owner, I believe, must have been pretty rough, and pardon me, this axle had actually pushed the oblong block through a bit of the floor and cracked the oblong block, and actually cracked the top floorboard as well. So that all got dug out by my friend, and then he put in a big long board, 30mm thick, and then he layered the layer of ply over the top layer of ply, or he actually put new ply in that area, and then it was nice and level with the old floor again. And that's all glued into place using strong adhesive. Oh, and same with this big area, I forgot to mention, my friend, he actually was able to cut out the original top layer of ply and put that over the top, back over the top of the new boards and ribs. So, or beams and ribs, sorry. So yeah, that's all that sorted, and it's all really strong now, stronger than what it ever came out of the factory, of course. And then the rest of it, all through here, as you saw in my last video, if you've seen it, all got dowels. The only bit that didn't need any major repairs was the toilet floor, apart from right at the back where it had rotted out. That whole section of floor got cut out and fully rebuilt, and yeah, that was another big drama, but that's all done now too. So this is a real milestone. This was a huge job, a massive job. Like, this whole caravan has been a massive job, but it's nearing its end, and it is looking really good for it. Now, why are these batteries here? Well, there's just a little bit that runs along here, and I had to, a little bit of new vinyl that runs along here, and I had to tuck it in just underneath this, so it was just trying to stick up. So it's been weighed down until the adhesive has gone off, and then it'll be fine. Also, this morning I did redo this little area here, just to make the, so I had to bevel this area here underneath the vinyl to make this bit of vinyl flush with the other bit. So that was a tricky little area, but it's all done now. So yeah, that's the hard vinyl work done. So the next job on the to-do list is the wheel well. That's got to be joined back up, but first of all we wanted to get the floor done, of course, and when my last little bits arrive, I've got the pipe now, but when my last bits of pneumatic pipe attachers arrive, I'll be just cutting into the cold line here and feeding the toilet line through for the flushing toilet, because that has to be plumbed in yet. That's one of the last things left to do with the plumbing, or it is the last thing left to do with the plumbing Oh, apart from the kitchen sink. But yeah, so that's all nearly done. Yeah, I think that's really about all the big things lately. There hasn't been much else because there's been a lot of focus on getting this floor finished. I mean, it was a lot of work, so yeah. Anyway, that's about all for now. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and until next time, have a nice day and have a nice week. Bye.